All right, today we're going to break down three stories that on the surface seem totally unrelated. We've got a tech giant's new AI toy, a super trendy brand hitting a wall with the public markets, and a state government getting into the crypto game. But trust me, they're all pieces of the same puzzle, pointing to this huge battle that's happening right now. Let's get into it. So this is the big question, isn't it? Who's really in the driver's seat? It's not just about banks or the Fed anymore. As you're about to see, the cast of characters fighting for control is getting way, way bigger and a lot more interesting. You know, the days of easy money and just explosive throw a dart and it works growth, yeah, those are pretty much over. What we're in now is more like the playoffs. It is a grind. Every single company has to fight for every inch, making these incredibly smart, strategic moves just to stay in the game and secure their spot for the long haul. So, first up, we have a real veteran of the game, PayPal. And they're not trying to be the flashy rookie anymore. Nope, they're pulling a classic, powerful move to make sure they're not just relevant, but essential for years to come. Okay, so what does this actually mean for you? Well, imagine you're just chatting with Microsoft's AI Copilot. You ask it for, say, a good recommendation for new headphones. Instead of just getting a link that sends you off to another website, you can literally buy them right there, inside the chat, all powered by PayPal. No new tabs, no checkout pages. It's just done. Super seamless. And this is where it gets really interesting, because this shows a massive shift in their whole strategy. For years, PayPal's whole game was about fighting to have the biggest, most obvious button on the checkout page. But now, they don't care about that. They want to be the invisible plumbing underneath the whole system. They're kind of sidestepping the direct fight with Apple Pay and Stripe to just become part of the very fabric of Microsoft's gigantic ecosystem. And this quote, man, it just says it all. It's this cold, hard, pragmatic view of the world. It basically says that when the market is totally saturated, being the cool or loved brand doesn't matter as much as just being the one that's everywhere. If AI is how we're all going to be shopping soon, PayPal's plan is to be the default payment system, whether you even realize you're using them or not. Think about it like a Hall of Fame basketball player in their last few seasons. They're not going for the highlight reel dunks or crazy three-pointers anymore. They're focused on making smart plays, being reliable, and just being on the court for more minutes than anyone else. That's PayPal. They're playing the long game, focusing on being absolutely essential. So the big takeaway here is that PayPal is trying to weave itself so deeply into the next generation of e-commerce that taking them out would be a huge pain. They're not chasing the latest trend, they're chasing the status of being the default, the thing you use without even thinking about it. Okay, let's switch gears to our second playbook. This one's all about Klarna, the absolute giant of the buy now, pay later world. You know, the service that lets you split up your payments. This is the story of what happens when a brand that's built entirely on culture and vibes crashes into the cold, hard reality of Wall Street. I mean, Klarna's rise was just this absolute rocket ship. They totally captured the culture with this cool pink branding and super easy credit, which led to this massively hyped IPO. But the story's taken a turn. Now there's a class action lawsuit from shareholders who claim the company wasn't exactly upfront about its growth and credit risks before it went public. And this is just the perfect way to think about what's happening. For years, being a Klarna user felt like you had a wristband to the coolest music festival. But now, the party's over. It's time to put on the corporate work badge. That whole freewheeling, growth at all costs vibe has to change, because the rules of the game are completely different now. So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, all that fun, trendy marketing copy that killed it on social media, it's now being torn apart by lawyers. The focus is shifting from just getting more users to obsessively managing credit risk. The company has to go from being this fun fintech mood board to a predictable, regulated machine that has to answer to its shareholders every single quarter. And that is the tough lesson here, not just for Klarna, but really for any brand that's built on hype. Wall Street does not care how cool your brand was last year. Your cultural status, your iconic branding, none of that pays the bills. What matters now is transparency, accountability, and the cold, hard numbers. Honesty becomes your single most valuable asset. All right, for our third and final playbook, we're getting way off the beaten path. We're leaving Silicon Valley and Wall Street far behind and heading to Wyoming. Yeah, Wyoming. And they are running this quiet but maybe revolutionary experiment completely outside the traditional system. So first, what in the world is a state stablecoin? The simplest way to think about it is like a digital dollar, but it's actually issued and backed by a state government. And the really critical part is that it's fully backed by super safe stuff, like US Treasury bonds. That means its value is designed to stay stable, one-to-one with the dollar. Now, let's be clear, this is not some random, sketchy crypto project. Wyoming partnered with Franklin Templeton, a huge, respected, traditional finance company. That partnership alone gives this whole thing massive credibility. It signals that this is serious, institutional level stuff, just built on top of new technology. You gotta understand, this didn't happen overnight. Wyoming has been playing the long game here for years. You can see they first built the legal foundation, making the state friendly to digital assets. Then they brought in the big, serious players. And only now are they launching the actual token. It's been a very deliberate, step-by-step strategy. This quote just perfectly captures the whole vibe. While everyone else is busy shouting and arguing about the future of finance, Wyoming is just quietly in the corner actually building it. They're not looking for headlines, they're just getting it done. And what they're doing is pretty radical. And this is why this should matter to all of us, even if we don't live in Wyoming. By creating a working, legitimate, state-backed digital dollar, Wyoming is putting a ton of pressure on the federal government. They're basically saying, hey, if you guys aren't going to innovate and modernize our money, well, we'll just do it ourselves. This one state could end up forcing the entire country's money system to evolve faster. So let's tie this all together. We've looked at 3 totally different players with 3 totally different strategies. But when you zoom out, you realize they are all playing the exact same game, a battle for the future of money. This table just lays it out so perfectly. You've got PayPal, whose strategy is all about embedding itself into the core infrastructure of big tech and AI. Then there's Klarna, learning the hard way how to play in the arena of Wall Street, where honesty is everything. And finally, you have Wyoming, innovating from the outside, using state power and the blockchain to force change from the ground up. 3 different playbooks, 3 different arenas, all fighting for a piece of our financial lives. And that really leaves us with one final huge question to think about. We're heading into a world where your AI assistant, your state government, and your favorite apps could all have their own form of money. And when that happens, the choice won't be about which one has the coolest features. It'll be about something much more fundamental. Who do you actually trust?